Can AI write better than a human? Could ChatGPT write like me? Absolutely. So many people have this wrong. And I'm going to show you not just how you can do this, but I'm going to show you exactly the step by step process that I used to make ChatGPT write just like me. All right. So, welcome to Everyday AI. My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm your host. This is a daily podcast, live stream, and free daily newsletter to help everyday people keep up with everything that's going on in the world of AI and how we can cut through the noise and actually use AI and even ChatGPT to our advantage, how we can use AI to grow our businesses and to grow our career. All right. And that's the thing that we're going to be talking about today, specifically how to make ChatGPT write just like you. All right. So before we get into the AI news, I just want to tell you as a reminder, this is a live show, right? So if you're listening on the podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, first of all, thank you. Second of all, there will be some links in the show notes. So make sure there's going to be a link to this exact kind of thread or conversation that we're having right now. So you can come in, ask me questions, and I will answer them. And if you are joining us live, please ask your questions. Are you trying to get ChatGPT to write like you? Is it failing? Is it going great? Let me know in the comments. But all right, let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about how we can make ChatGPT write just like you. So thank you all for joining us. PJ, so I'm just going to shout out some people who are joining us. And also make sure if you have questions, let me know. Now's the time. Now's the time to get those questions in. We're going to handle them live. That's what makes Everyday AI a little different than your average, podcast out there. Is we take all your questions live. So PJ, thank you for joining us. Maurice, thank you for joining us. Just saying hi. Brian, good morning. Adam, what's up, Adam? Adam saying, let's go, Jordan. We have a shout out from Australia coming from YouTube. Aaron, thank you. Apparently, we're going international today. So we might even be tomorrow in some time zones, working in the future here. Nancy, thank you for joining us, saying the only way to keep up on AI is this show and the daily newsletter. Thank you, Nancy. Yes, PJ, 1,000 Chrome extensions. I have more than 1,000. I have actually multiple Chrome extensions that help me manage my Chrome extensions. Fabian says, greetings from Central Chile. All right, let's get this going without further ado. And actually, just let me know. Have you all tried this? If you're listening on the podcast, look in the show notes, shoot me an email, shoot me a LinkedIn message. Have you tried this? I want to know. I think this is a great use case. And actually, let me set the stage a little bit here. For those of you that don't know my background, normally I don't share a lot, but in this case, it's extremely important. I've been getting paid to write for 20 years. And I hear all the time people say, oh, AI can't write like a human. Yes, it can. It's just the overwhelming majority of people don't know how to use ChatGPT or other generative AI tools. They're looking for shortcuts. They're just looking at, oh, look at this copy and paste prompt. That's not how it works. But I'm letting you know, I've been getting paid to write for 20 years. I've ghost written for huge brands. I've written for brands like Nike and Jordan, right? Brands that we all have heard of. I've won national writing awards. I was a Pulitzer Fellow. All right. So what I'm trying to say is I'm better than your average writer. And I'll let you know that ChatGPT can write as well as me and 20 times faster. But you have to do this correctly. So that is what today's show is all about. Kind of 5 tips. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to make ChatGPT write just like you. All right. And I've been told that sometimes I tease these things for too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and just skip to the end. And then we're going to come back and show you how all this was done. So if you're joining us on the podcast, don't worry. I'm going to try to read just a little bit. So I did this morning, y'all, like just right before this show went on. I hadn't updated my little GPT-4 assistant in a while, so I decided to give it a quick update. So you'll see, I'm not going to read all of this, but you'll see I'm scrolling through. This is a lot of back and forth, okay? And I'm going to walk you through this process, but I just wanted you all to see how much information just in a very short period of time, right? There's thousands of words here where I'm going back and forth with ChatGPT and giving it examples of my writing, giving it feedback, and then asking it to write a post. Okay, going back and forth, back and forth. And then at the bottom, I'm just going to read a little bit of this. And, I was going to do something. I was going to put a post up on the screen and be like, oh, was this written by ChatGPT or me? But I think you guys would have guessed this. Like, y'all would have known, like, oh, you're teaching us how to use ChatGPT. So, of course, it's ChatGPT. But let me just go ahead and just read part of this. All right. So here's the post, and I asked it to write a post about AI taking jobs. So here's what ChatGPT came up with after some back and forth. AI taking jobs? Sheesh. Let's drop the BS, y'all. You've seen the post. AI won't take your job. Someone using AI will. Nah, that's a laugh. That person using AI, they're not just snagging one job. They're obliterating careers. One job, nah, try 1,000. Let's be real, shorties. Here's the truth, right? And then you guys, I'll copy and paste this in the comments later. But if any of you all have read my writing, which I haven't posted a lot since I started the Everyday AI show, but I used to post much more often. This is extremely spot on to how I write. I'd say it's about 95% accurate. But here's the thing. ChatGPT can write 10 times faster than me. All right. So let's get back and figure out how we got there. All right. Oh, I did this once last week. I'm only going to do this once a week. So if this was helpful for you, go ahead and hit repost on this. So again, if you're joining us live, please hit repost on LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't think there's a repost on YouTube. Again, if you're listening to this on the podcast today, there will be show notes in there so you can go to this post and repost it. I have something special. I'm trying to get a small group. I did this once last week. We got like 12 or 15 people. So something I'm not going to offer anywhere else. It's free, but I've been working on a resource for people who want to use ChatGPT a little bit better. So if today's show is helpful for you, just please go ahead and repost that. And as a reminder, we are a live stream podcast and newsletter. All right, let's get into the good stuff. So how can we get ChatGPT to write more like you? Number one, use the right mode. That's extremely important. So in the example I just showed you, I was using GPT-4. I was also using plugins. All right, I'll leave a comment here later for my episode that I just did Friday about plugins. Here's why. Using the free version of ChatGPT, I use this example all the time, but I'll use a better example. If we're just talking about writing, ChatGPT is a high school writer, the free version. All right. If you use the paid version with the right plugins and give it the right access to the correct information, you are talking about someone like me, a master's degree with 20 years plus experience writing. So you need to use, if you're getting subpar results, switch over to GPT-4, the paid version. It's $20 a month, but it's worth it. I'm not paid by OpenAI to say that. I always like making that clear. But I would pay thousands of dollars a month to use GPT-4 because it's that powerful. So you need to use the right mode. Okay? So the paid version of ChatGPT is just going to be better, period. And then you can give it access to a website if you want ChatGPT to mimic your brand voice. If you already have writing out there, you can give it access to PDFs, right? In the example I gave, I just gave it copy and paste for a reason, because I wanted to bring something up one of these points later. But you need to use the right mode. GPT-4, give it access to the internet, give it access to a PDF, give it access to YouTube, right? There's your 3 plugins. We talk about plugin packs all the time. There's your 3 plugins. That's number one, and that's most important. Most people that say, oh, I tried to get ChatGPT to write like me and it didn't. They're using the free version of ChatGPT. It's not that strong, right? Even if you do apples and apples, the same prompts, go through exactly what I showed you, giving examples, GPT-4 is always going to be better. It's stronger. It is a much larger large language model. It's better, period. That's the first thing. Use the right mode. Number two, what I just talked about, you need to give access to ample writing samples and resources. So even in the example that I gave, that I showed on my screen, I gave ChatGPT 12 different posts that I had written. And when you give examples of the writing, just like training a new employee, which is one of the things we're going to talk about here, you can't give it examples to, oh, here's something, creative and witty, yet here's a writing sample that's serious and corporate, right? Each chat in ChatGPT should be viewed as an expert employee. So you can have 10 different chats inside ChatGPT where you train it on different tones of voice. But this is a big mistake that people are making when they're trying to train ChatGPT to write more like them. In the examples I gave, it was all LinkedIn posts written in my voice, right? Which is usually somewhat witty, kind of in your face, laid back, informal, right? So I wouldn't give ChatGPT examples that didn't fit that mold. So you need to be consistent and precise in the examples that you're giving. They need to be all in the same vein, all traveling the same road, if that makes sense. So that's tip number two. Oh, cool. Maybrit said it sounds like me. FYI, y'all, like even when I was writing, and I should be full disclosure on this. I enjoy writing, right? So even my own LinkedIn post, I write those. ChatGPT could write those, but it's one of those things. I spend probably, depending on the day, anywhere from 4 to 10 hours inside ChatGPT, right? And for me, it can sometimes be not draining, but it can kind of, the efficiency and the output is so high that every once in a while, I just need to say, like, I'm writing this for myself, right? I just want you all to know that, like, I could be pumping out a bunch of great posts using ChatGPT, but I still love writing, right? Like I told you, I've been writing professionally for 20 years, so I still do enjoy it. So just FYI, all my posts are mine, but ChatGPT could take over, if it wanted to. All right, let's keep going. And also, get your questions in now. We're almost done here. We're almost done with the 5 tips. All right, follow PPP best practices: prime, prompt, polish. I already know from some of the comments, some of you all have taken our free PPP course. If you have, go ahead and let everyone else know in the comments now what you think, if you don't mind. But we talk about that. You don't just go in and copy and paste a prompt. Another huge mistake that people make is they're listening to random people on the internet, random social media influencers. Nothing against them, but if you're just using a copy and paste prompt that someone found online, that's the worst thing you can do. The ChatGPT is not going to sound like you, or it's not going to sound like your brand. You need to follow best practices. You need to train it as an employee. You need to prime, you need to prompt, and you need to polish. So if you want access to the course, it's your lucky day. Just type PPP in the comments. We have some classes starting up next week. We took 2 weeks off to make it better, to make some updates. So if you want access to that, and please, if you have taken the course before, give it a shout. Oh, cool. People already did that quickly. Y'all are awesome. Val says PPP is a must. Dr. Harvey Castro says PPP is great. PJ says excellent course. Marie says the course is very helpful. Thank you, guys. Oh, cool. Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Kevin says PPP is fantastic and has really helped up my game and even my programming. That's great. Yeah, PPP just helps you not just write better content, but just use ChatGPT better, period. All right. So that's another mistake. You don't just copy and paste something and think that ChatGPT is going to be better or to write at the same level as you. The example I showed, you saw how much back and forth there was. It took 15 minutes. I'm getting good at the PPP process, but you go through it quickly. It's a lot of back and forth. It's not copy paste like what people on the internet are telling you. They're just trying to sell you something. All right. Number 4, we just referenced it. In these chats where you're trying to get ChatGPT to sound more like you, think of it as you are training an employee on that one specific type of writing. That's the other thing. If you're trying to get it to speak like you or to write like you, talk like you, whatever, you would be writing for many different outlets, right? So the example I gave was different LinkedIn posts, right? But if I was writing an email, I would not, even though that sounds like me, those LinkedIn posts that ChatGPT wrote sounds like me, I would not use that in an email. So if I wanted to use ChatGPT for my writing, which again, I probably should, but I still enjoy writing old fashioned, right? So, but I would create something separate. I would create one for LinkedIn. I would create one for, outreach emails. I would create one for, client emails. I would create one for landing page copy because it's all a little different, right? Your copy, depending on where it lives, is going to be a little bit different. All right. Last, but actually, here, I'm going to stop here because a great question from Brian just came in. He said, what if you don't have a real style? Brian, that's a great question. You'd be surprised, right? So like I said, find some writing that you've done consistently that is all in the same category. Go through the PPP process. PPP process. When you add process on there, it's a tongue twister for early in the morning. Go through the process and you'll be surprised. ChatGPT will tell you what your style is, even if you don't know it, right? But even if you are not, as an example, a definitively defined writer, even if your, even if your prose is not polished, you probably still do have tendencies when you write. You probably still do have a brand voice, even if you aren't aware. So ChatGPT will actually help you realize and pinpoint that. But let's just say, and that's fine, Brian. That's actually a great example. Is not everyone's writing is going to jump off the page, and that's okay, and that's all right, right? So even if you don't have a writing style, ChatGPT can still help you identify what your writing tendencies are, the words that you use most often. That was the thing that when I was kind of training my chat for this example, I said, not just in the examples, but I said, here's words that I use a lot when I talk, right? Make sure to use those. But Brian, that's a great question. All right. Last but not least, we've been through them. I'm going to go through them here real quick without gibberish in between. So you can get all 5. Here they are. Number 1, use the right mode. Number 2, give access to ample writing samples and resources. Number 3, follow PPP best practices, prime, prompt, polish. Number 4, train an employee, not just using ChatGPT. And last but not least, keep memory in mind and recall. All right. So real quick, people who haven't taken the PPP course might not know what that means at all. ChatGPT has a memory. There's only certain token usage. I believe ChatGPT or OpenAI says that it's 32,000 tokens on the Pro. I think that's a slow rollout. I'm still not seeing that. I'm still seeing 8,000 tokens, which is about 6,000 words. So what that means is with all that back and forth, right? So let's go ahead and just go back here to my chat here in ChatGPT. I'm just, if you're listening on the podcast, I'm showing when you're training up an employee, again, use ChatGPT as training an employee. There's a lot of back and forth here, a lot. There's I don't have a word count. I wish OpenAI would give you a word count or a token count on the side so you knew when ChatGPT would start to lose its memory. But you'll see here, there's thousands of words. So I've already really cut into a big portion of ChatGPT's memory here. So you need to keep memory in mind. And one thing we teach in our course is to do a memory recall every once in a while. So if you've ever started using ChatGPT, and you've gone back and forth and, you've, whether it's to get it to write like you or something else, and it starts to lose its quality, that is because it is starting to lose its memory, right? ChatGPT is by far, and it's not even close. I don't care what anyone says. I will go head to head in a dorky AI battle. That ChatGPT with plugins is the best AI chat by far. And I've done those videos. I'll try to leave them in the comments. Cloud 2 has a bigger memory. Cloud 2 from Anthropic. It's not good though. It's not good. not compared to ChatGPT with plugins when you train them as your employee, right? Google Bard is great for certain use cases. Doesn't hold its weight compared to ChatGPT with plugins. Same thing with Microsoft Bing Chat, even though they're both, right? Like Microsoft Bing Chat is using GPT-4. The creative mode uses GPT-4. Still doesn't hold its weight to ChatGPT with plugins. All right. So memory recall. It's ChatGPT is going to start to lose all those instructions and all the examples, and it's going to lose its memory. All right. Battle, yes, as Ben said, battle of the AI dorks. Absolutely. Brian, thank you. Brian says PPP has definitely improved my business. Maybrit says PPP will help you use ChatGPT efficiently without any crazy upsells or super prompts. Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't mean to accidentally make this a PPP episode, but thank you all for shouting that out. Also, Monica says, thank you for this valuable information. Monica and Charlotte tuning in live. Thank you, Monica and Charlotte. Two people on one account. That's great. So I hope this was helpful. And again, as a reminder, if this was helpful, go ahead, click the repost on this. If you're watching on LinkedIn, on Twitter, wherever, go ahead and click repost if this was helpful for you. We're working on a project which will hopefully be done this month. I'm going to give you access to it. It's always free. We don't charge y'all for helping with information to help individuals use ChatGPT a little better. So that was it, y'all. I hope that this helps. And I hope now when someone says, oh, ChatGPT can't write like me, or, oh, look at this example of this AI content. It's no good, right? AI is not good. No, it usually means the person using it isn't very good at using it. 99% of times when you get bad written copy out of ChatGPT or another AI bot, it's user error. Sorry, that just means the person using or trying to cheat you or trying to sell you something doesn't know what they're doing, right? Y'all just saw an example where I went live through and I trained this ChatGPT to write a little more like me. And in the end, like I said, it's probably about 95 to 99% accurate for someone that's been getting paid to write for 20 years. So if it can go at 95 to 99% quality-wise, but it can write 10 times faster than me, I hope y'all can see the tremendous benefit to spending time in ChatGPT to make it right like you. All right. So as a reminder, y'all, make sure to go to youreverydayai.com. That's youreverydayai.com. If this was a lot of information, don't worry. We're going to be recapping it in our free daily newsletter. Like Nancy shouted out earlier, she said that I'm trying to find her comment now. There's a lot of comments, guys. So she said, I just let other people talk for me. She said, the only way to keep up on AI is this show and the daily newsletter. So make sure you go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for the free daily newsletter. Make sure if you haven't, if you can't catch the live stream every day, that's all right. Check us out on Spotify, on Apple. If you like the show, please leave us a rating there as well. So we hope to see you then and every day on Everyday AI. Thanks.